My parents always put my sister on a pedestal. She was the shining star, the one who could do no wrong in their eyes. They celebrated every step she took toward success, while mine were barely noticed. When she announced her engagement to a high-powered executive, they threw a lavish party. When I quietly married a man who worked the land, they barely showed up. At her wedding, they had me wait outside in the heat because a very important guest needed my seat. Then my husband arrived, and the truth I'd kept hidden for 3 long years was about to change everything. My name is Sophia Reynolds, and this is the story of how I finally stopped shrinking to fit their expectations. I grew up in the shadow of my older sister, Isabella. She was everything they dreamed of: prom queen, college valedictorian, rising star in corporate marketing. I was the quiet one who loved the outdoors. I studied environmental science and sustainable agriculture, drawn to the idea of healing the earth instead of climbing ladders. Every time I shared a milestone, like graduating with honors or landing a research grant, my parents would nod politely and say, "That's sweet, but Isabella just closed her biggest deal." Family dinners revolved around her promotions, her awards, her perfect life. Mine felt like footnotes. At my graduation ceremony, they arrived halfway through and left early because Isabella had a networking event. I stood alone on the stage, diploma in hand, watching their empty seats. The message was loud and clear: Isabella was the success story. I was the one who settled. 2 years ago, I attended a sustainability summit and met Ethan. He was speaking about regenerative farming and soil health. His passion was quiet but fierce, nothing flashy, just real knowledge and care. We talked for hours. Over the next months, he invited me to his family's land, a vast, thriving operation that supplied organic produce to major chains. Ethan lived simply: worn boots, modest house, endless work. He never boasted. I fell for his integrity, his kindness, the way he saw the world as something to nurture. When I introduced him to my family, the reaction was instant and cold. My mother raised an eyebrow. "A farmer? Sophia, we thought you'd aim higher." My father asked if we'd be living off the grid. Isabella smirked and said, "Well, at least someone has to feed us all." They dismissed him entirely. Isabella, meanwhile, was dating Marcus, a sharp-suited executive at a massive agribusiness firm. He drove a luxury car, talked non-stop about bonuses and stock options. My parents adored him from day one. "Finally, a real winner in the family," my father said. I married Ethan in a small, heartfelt ceremony on his land. My parents came but complained about the rustic setting. Isabella's engagement party? A black tie event for 250 people. The contrast stung, but we kept our secret. What they didn't know was that Ethan owned Evergreen Farms, a powerhouse with thousands of acres across 2 states and contracts worth tens of millions. I had also built a successful career as lead sustainability advisor for a top firm, earning well into 6 figures with published papers and speaking invitations. We chose silence. Ethan said, "If they can't value you for your heart, they don't deserve to know our truth." But the pain lingered. Family visits were a minefield of subtle jabs. Still planting crops? How quaint. Marcus just bought a yacht. I swallowed it all. Until the wedding day arrived. What happened next would shatter their illusions forever. Isabella's wedding was the event of the year. $200,000 budget, celebrity caterers, a ballroom at one of the city's most exclusive venues. My invitation arrived late, with a note about limited space. I was placed at a table near the back with distant relatives. At the rehearsal dinner, I wasn't asked to give a toast. My mother said I wouldn't know what to say in such a sophisticated crowd. 2 weeks before the big day, disaster struck. The venue demanded an additional $18,000 final payment, or the booking would be cancelled. Marcus's family had pulled out due to unexpected expenses. My parents had already stretched their finances thin. Isabella was in tears. Then an anonymous wire transfer arrived from a foundation called Harmony Events. The balance cleared. Isabella called it a miracle. I smiled quietly. I had made the donation. Despite everything, I wanted her day to be perfect. The wedding day was flawless, until it wasn't. Ethan and I arrived in understated elegance. Isabella pulled me aside in the hallway. There's been a mix-up with seating. A major investor is coming, and we need the table. You and Ethan will have to wait outside until we sort it out. She led us to a small patio area with folding chairs near the loading dock. The summer heat was oppressive. I tried to stay calm. Ethan's jaw tightened, but I squeezed his hand. It's her day. Let's not ruin it. Marcus strutted out to check on something and spotted us. What are you doing here? Isabella said you were inside. I explained the seating issue. He sneered. Figures. You two don't exactly blend with the vibe we're going for. Stay out here, don't want you tracking dirt in. He called me country trash under his breath, loud enough for me to hear. Humiliation burned in my chest. Tears welled up. Isabella appeared, saw me crying, and snapped, "Are you seriously making a scene already?" She grabbed a glass of red wine from a tray and poured it down my dress. Now you really look the part. My parents walked out, saw the stain, and instead of defending me, my mother sighed. Maybe it's best you leave. You never should have worn that dress anyway. My father shook his head. Always the drama, Sophia. I was trembling. Ethan stood, ready to speak. Then a voice cut through the tension. Mr. Reynolds? Is that really you? The venue's general manager hurried over, eyes wide. We weren't informed you'd be attending. If we'd known this was your family's event, we would have arranged everything personally. Marcus froze. Isabella's face drained of color. My parents looked bewildered. Ethan smiled calmly. Actually, I'm here for my wife. The wife you just humiliated. And just like that, the masks began to slip. The manager kept talking. Mr. Reynolds from Evergreen Farms? We had no idea. This venue is proud to host your company's events. Please, let me escort you to the VIP suite. Marcus stammered, Evergreen Farms? As in, the supplier. His voice cracked. Isabella clutched his arm. What is he talking about? Ethan remained composed. Yes, I own Evergreen Farms. We supply over $40 million in produce annually to your company's parent organization, Marcus. I'm one of your largest partners. My mother laughed nervously. That's impossible. He's a farmer. Ethan nodded. I am. I own 15,000 acres, run sustainable operations, and live the way I believe in. But yes, I'm also the CEO. I stood, wine-soaked dress and all. You never asked about my life. You assumed. You always assumed. Marcus's face turned ashen. Sir, we didn't know. I'm up for regional director next month. I was hoping you'd be at the meeting. Ethan's eyes were steel. We were. I was coming to sign off on it personally. Were being the operative word. Marcus's eyes widened. What? No, please. Ethan continued, calm but firm. You just insulted my wife. Called her trash. Made her sit outside like she didn't belong. That promotion? Cancelled. Isabella gasped. We didn't know who he was. Exactly, Ethan said. So this is how you treat people you think are beneath you. The manager cleared his throat. Mr. Reynolds, about the final payment. The $18,000. The Harmony Events donation covered the prior balance, but the venue fee is still outstanding. Isabella spun toward my parents. You said it was covered. My mother stammered. We thought Marcus's family would handle it. Marcus shook his head. I told you they backed out. All eyes turned to me. Isabella's voice sharpened. It was you, wasn't it? The anonymous donation. I nodded. I didn't want your wedding cancelled. You're still my sister. Her expression twisted. Then pay the rest. You can afford it. My mother stepped forward. Sophia, family helps family. Something inside me snapped. Family helps family? You made me wait outside at my own sister's wedding. You watched wine poured on my dress and told me to leave. My father protested. We didn't know about Ethan. That shouldn't matter, I said. I'm your daughter. Ethan placed a hand on my shoulder. You don't owe them anything. I looked at Isabella, my parents, Marcus, all desperate now. Guests were starting to gather, phones out. I took a breath. I paid because I was kind. But kindness isn't a one-way street. Figure it out yourselves. My mother gasped. You'd ruin her day? No, I said. You did that when you treated me like I wasn't enough. The reception hall was starting to empty. Chaos was just beginning. The manager announced that without payment, the reception couldn't continue. Guests murmured, confused. Caterers paused. The band stopped setting up. Isabella's perfect day was unraveling in real time. Marcus tried to appeal to Ethan. Sir, please. The promotion, the raise, I already told people. I have debts. Ethan didn't flinch. Consequences. You never learned them. Isabella turned on me, furious. This is your fault. You could have told us. You let us humiliate ourselves. I shook my head. I let you show who you really are. And you did. My mother tried one last plea. Sophia, please. We'll apologize. Just pay it. For family. I wanted your respect before, I said. Not pity now. Ethan and I started walking toward the exit. Isabella chased after us. Wait. You can't leave like this. I turned. You told me to wait outside. I'm just following instructions. My father called out, We love you, Sophia. I paused. You love the version of me that fits your picture. But when you thought I was failing, you couldn't. We got in the car. As we drove away, I glanced in the mirror. Marcus on his phone, panicking. Isabella arguing with our parents. Guests filming. My mother slumped on the steps. For the first time in years, I breathed easily. The next morning, my phone exploded with calls and texts. My mother, how could you do this to your sister? Isabella, Marcus is talking about leaving. This is all your fault. Social media was buzzing. Videos from the wedding were spreading fast. Comments were mostly supportive. She deserved better. The truth hurts. I showed Ethan. I feel guilty. Is that wrong? He smiled. No. You have a good heart. They exploited it. By Monday, Marcus was terminated. HR had uncovered years of padded expense reports. Without his job, his debts crushed him. He sold the car, lost the apartment, moved in with his parents. Isabella ended the engagement. I can't marry someone with nothing. My mother called in tears. Your sister's life is ruined. She's devastated. I replied, she has what she valued most, image and pride. My own achievements started circulating. Lead advisor, published expert, married to Ethan Reynolds. The same people who mocked me now wanted to connect. Isabella emailed, can we say it was a misunderstanding? My reputation. I typed one word, no. But the story wasn't over. The real reckoning was still coming. 6 months later, I stepped onto the stage at a national sustainability conference. My keynote on regenerative agriculture had gone viral. The room was packed. Ethan sat in the front row proud. Afterward, a young woman approached me, eyes shining with tears. My family doesn't support my choices either. How did you find the strength? I told her the truth. You don't need their approval to thrive. Build your own worth. Surround yourself with people who see you clearly. Never dim your light to fit their shadows. My mother emailed after the speech hit the news. I'm so proud. I always knew you'd do great things. Can we try again? I read it, felt the old ache, then deleted it. Some wounds heal. Some scars remind you to protect your peace. Ethan and I built our life quietly but powerfully. Our combined work impacted thousands of acres, thousands of lives. We traveled, spoke, lived simply and meaningfully. The people who once belittled me now faded into the background. Their opinions became white noise. I never looked back. If you've ever felt invisible to the people who should see you most, remember this: your value isn't measured by their recognition. Build a life that honors who you truly are. Find your tribe. Shine anyway. Your worth was never up for debate. Thank you for listening to my story. Looking back, the wedding was the breaking point, but the cracks had been there for years. I spent so long trying to earn love that was supposed to be unconditional. I stayed quiet, endured the comparisons, believed if I just tried harder, they'd see me. But love isn't earned. It's given, or it's not. Ethan taught me that. He never needed to prove himself to anyone. He simply lived his truth, and that was enough. When he defended me that day, it wasn't with anger. It was with quiet certainty. He knew our worth. After the chaos, I didn't gloat. I grieved. For the family I wanted but never had. For the sister who chose image over connection. For the parents who couldn't see beyond their own expectations. Yet grief gave way to freedom. I stopped waiting for their approval. I started celebrating my own wins, the research that changed farming practices, the students who thanked me for inspiring them. The quiet mornings on the farm with Ethan. The world noticed. Invitations poured in. Opportunities multiplied. The same circles that once ignored me now wanted partnerships. I declined most. I didn't need their validation anymore. One day, Isabella reached out again. She had moved to a smaller city, started over. She apologized, really apologized. Not for the wedding, but for a lifetime of dismissal. I listened. I forgave. But I didn't invite her back in fully. Boundaries are kindness, too. My parents never fully understood. They sent occasional cards, but the distance remained. It was the right size. Ethan and I grew our legacy. We funded scholarships for young farmers. We mentored the next generation. We lived well, loved deeply, and never shrank. If you're reading this and feeling small, know this: the people who diminish you don't define you. Walk away from spaces that make you feel less. Build ones that make you feel whole. Your story isn't over. It's just beginning. Years later, I stood on our farm at sunset. The fields stretched golden under the light. Ethan worked nearby, sleeves rolled up, content. I thought about the girl I used to be, the one who apologized for existing, who dimmed her light so others could shine brighter. That girl was gone. In her place was someone who knew her value. Not because of wealth or titles, but because she had chosen herself. The conference speech I gave became a TED Talk. Thousands messaged me with their own stories. Brothers, sisters, children who were never enough. I answered every one I could. You are enough. Right now. As you are. My work expanded. I co-authored a book on sustainable futures. It hit bestseller lists. Ethan and I traveled to speak together. We shared the stage, the message. Success isn't about ladders. It's about roots. Isabella occasionally sent updates. She was doing okay, new job, new life. We exchanged polite messages. No deep reconciliation, but no open war either. That was enough. My parents aged. They never apologized in words, but their tone softened. I visited once a year. Short visits. Civil. The old wounds didn't reopen, they simply scarred over. I didn't need them to change. I had changed. One evening, a young farmer emailed me. His family dismissed his dreams. He asked, "How do you stop caring what they think?" I wrote back, "You don't stop caring overnight. You care less each day you choose yourself. Build proof of your worth in actions, not words. One day, their opinions will feel like echoes from another life." He thanked me. I smiled. I had been him once. Ethan and I celebrated anniversaries quietly. Picnics in the fields, no fanfare. We didn't need it. Our life was the celebration. If you've ever been the disappointment, remember, disappointment is just someone else's unmet expectation. You are not their dream. You are your own. Live accordingly. Brilliantly. Unapologetically. The last time I spoke publicly about my journey, I ended with this. I used to think family meant everything. Now I know it means the people who choose to see you, respect you, and lift you. Blood doesn't guarantee that. Love does. I don't hate my family. I wish them well. But I no longer carry their version of me. I carry my own. To anyone who has ever felt invisible, you are seen. By the earth you nurture, the work you do, the people who choose you daily. Your light isn't borrowed. It's yours. Shine it. The world needs it. The applause was thunderous. Ethan waited backstage, arms open. We walked out together. Our life continued, simple, rich, real. I never regretted the silence we kept. It forced them to reveal their hearts. It freed me to find mine. If you're still waiting for someone to recognize your worth, stop. Recognize it yourself. Build something beautiful. Love fiercely. Live fully. Your story isn't defined by the people who overlooked you. It's defined by the person you became despite them. And that person? She's extraordinary. Thank you for listening. If my story resonates, share yours. We heal together. This is the end. But your beginning is just ahead.